Yeah, this is Josh Grove with Dark Below. Make Believe is our latest single here, and it's been spinning on the radio here pretty recently. You can check that out on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Pandora, anywhere where you get your streaming services. So go on ahead and check out Make Believe.
Beautiful, Josh. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, as you say, Dark Below recently released the song Make Believe. So, how's the early reception been for it?
It's been fantastic. So, with our latest single recordings that we've done, working on this newest album, essentially, we just started pushing our album towards like the SMR charts here in the US. And, Make Believe has been our third single, our most recent release, and it hit number 10. So, our goal has always been to break the top 10 from the get go. So, to be up top there with bands that we've grown up listening to idolized, like Metallica and Foo Fighters. Like to get up there with names like that, it's been pretty phenomenal just to kind of work our way there,
Good on you, bro. So tell us a bit more about the song from a musical standpoint, what you're going for with it.
Yeah. I mean, from a musical standpoint, are you referring more to like the meaning of it, or just how we came about on it?
Go from the musical side of it first, so like the instrumentalization, and then tell us about the lyrics.
Sure. So this is Make Believe has been a song that we actually wrote a long while back, like in a more basic format. I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And the lead singer kind of came up with a riff. He also plays guitar since we're a three-piece. And basically it just kind of started from there and took off. So we had our drummer come in after the fact and kind of lay down the track for it. And then we went out to Nashville and started working on our newest album. And they were like, hey, you guys have been playing this song for quite a bit. Why don't we take it from that more garage band type version that you've got and make it a little bit more modernized, a little bit more upbeat, and, kind of bring it into, we've been at this for about 10 years. And over the last couple of years, we've kind of grown quite a bit. So our producer, Malcolm Springer and Jason Schrick, they were like, you guys can kind of put a little bit more of a finesse spin on this from the musical standpoint than the garage band version you had before. So that was kind of the approach when we were in the studio of let's take this older song you've got, let's modernize it, let's make it a new single, worth releasing to the folks there.
And as you say, I think you pretty much answered this for me already, but it follows from the singles Tense and Hate Being Human. So are they part of a bigger album picture?
Yeah, so we tracked 10 songs in Nashville over at Universal there in Berry Hill. So we have 10 full songs completed at this point. We're talking about maybe rolling with a couple more, but we have another single in the works, ready to rock and roll for our next radio release. But the idea is that we will likely release a full 10-song record at some point, or release a couple more singles and maybe do a large EP, something along those lines.
Are these three songs indicative of what you expect musically from the full album?
I would say overall, yes. There are a few additional tracks on the song or tracks on the record that take a little bit more of a different stylistic approach. But overall, it's still hard rock. It's still, at our core, what we're all about, just being a straightforward hard rock band. But we do have a little bit of a slower song, a little bit of maybe a poppier song. But overall, if you like the three singles that you've heard so far, the rest of the stuff is still very much going to resonate with you. We're not doing some sort of experimental stuff on the other tracks or anything like that by any means.
Just to elaborate a bit further on that, mate, like how does this new material differ to the stuff that was on your self-titled EP that came out in 2017?
I would say that like me and the lead singer, guitar player, we started as a three-piece. We're the only two members from that initial three-piece when that EP was released. And to be honest with you, we were just like, I'm going to turn 30 next month. He's turning 34, somewhere in there. So we've just grown and developed so much more from the, younger dudes that had no idea what the hell they were doing. So from then to now, it's just a whole lot of experience, a whole lot of playing shows, and a whole lot of developing writing. Like our writing style back then was just making shit up as we go, and now it's more experienced and I just feel like we have a much better grasp on what the hell we're doing versus back then where we were just throwing shit at the wall to see what would stick, if that makes sense. So I mean, this time around, it's like we're working with the same producers we worked with back in those days as well. So they've got a better grasp on us. We know what they look for, what they want out of us, how they can draw things out of us. So I would just say overall, it's just going from like middle school to high school. It's like trying to figure out who you are versus developing into the person that you want to be. I mean, that's kind of the difference from that self-titled EP of just what the hell are we doing to now it's like, all right, this is what we're trying to do.
So along those lines, bro, like you started the band in 2016. So what was your early vision for Dark Below, and what were your early goals, and how have they changed since?
So I mean, back then, I was like either a freshman in college or still in college. The other dudes were young. So to be honest with you, it was about playing shows, grabbing ass, getting free drinks, stuff like that. It was just, hey, let's get together, write some songs, go out and play some shows and have a good time. Um, During that period of us going out and fooling around, we met our current manager, who is very experienced on the musical side of things. He played in a signed band with Universal back in the day, and he was like, "Hey, you assholes have some potential. Let's get together. Let's start writing some songs. Let's actually get you on a path towards success if that's something you're interested in doing." Um, so for me and the guitar player slash lead singer there, the other Josh in the band, we were like, hell yeah. And our drummer at the time, we love him. He still comes to all of our shows. He just was interested in, kind of doing his day job. So we got him replaced. And then from that point on, it was dialing in, like going and playing shows, being more serious, being professional, establishing a business. And I mean, long story short, we didn't have goals to begin with. It was just go have fun. Now we've got goals of, doing this interview right now and going to play shows with bands that we love to hang out with, listen to, and play. I mean, we want to grow our brand. We want to get our music out there in front of everybody. It's something that we're proud of versus something we were doing just for fun.
So I believe you guys actually started from a Craigslist ad, mate. Like over here in Australia, we don't hear too much about Craigslist. The only thing I know about it is that there's a Netflix TV series about the Craigslist killer. Like, tell us about that.
Yep. So that is kind of the running joke of the band. So like when it started, the guitar player slash lead singer and the original drummer, they met on Craigslist back before the Craigslist killer was a thing. I was one of those things where you'd buy people's used shit or like try and meet up with like hookers or whatever. I mean, back when Craigslist was the wild, wild west before people were dying. So basically the way it went is the drummer who I went to high school with, we were good buddies. He posted an ad like on Craigslist and the other Josh responded. And basically the way it went was something along the lines of like, hey, come around to the back door in the basement. I swear I won't kill you is basically the joke. And then it turns out the Craigslist killer came not too long after that. So,
wow.
I mean, this was like 2012, 2013 before all that shit went down. So, I mean, that's how they got together. And then I was a freshman in college that year. He was like, hey, man, you should come hang out while we practice. And so I show up, sitting there 18 years old, drinking beers, listening to them do their thing. And they're like, you know how to play guitar, right? And I was like, not really. He's like, well, here's a bass guitar, figure it out. So that's kind of how it started. I just showed up one day, hanging out with my buddy, and next thing you know, I got a bass guitar that I don't know how to play. And that was the start of Down Phase, our original band. So we switched to Dark Below as we released that initial self-titled EP. And then obviously parted ways with the drummer and moved on towards the more serious actions we've been taking over the last few years. But Craigslist, that's what did it.
I think I'll steer clear of that. I'm in enough trouble as it is. And,
fair enough.
I believe you guys have recently started a tour too, or you just about start a tour?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that it's like a full-fledged tour, but we're doing like weekend warrior shows where like I've got a full day job. The other Josh has a full day job, and our drummer also works pretty regularly. So, I mean, we typically are doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere in that range as much as we can. We still have to hold down the day job for the finances because, the band doesn't quite support itself at the moment to where it's paying our bills, but it keeps us going. So I mean, we're just jumping on anything and everything that we can. We just played with the band Rehab. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those dudes, but they're awesome. And then Scotty Austin was the former frontman of Saving Abel. We've been going out with him quite a bit as well. And then Buckcherry recently came to town. So I mean, anything local with a big headliner, we're trying to jump on that at all times too. But long story short, yeah, I mean, we're playing as many shows as we can every weekend we can.
Beautiful. All right, Joshua, thanks very much for your time, mate. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. The single Make Believe is out now. She's a cracker, mate. I look forward to hearing what you come up with later in the year.